Hello everyone, welcome back to another Card by Vanguard video. Jason here, and then we have Callum at the background.
Hello!
If you're wondering, we changed our profile picture, our channel, and the banner card, right?
Yeah.
So, alright. Today's video, onto the subject, is the proxy of BT-09 Diablos Violence Bruce deck.
No, it's Diabol's Vehemence, Bruce.
Diabolos.
You just read the original grade 3 Bruce's name out.
But either way, he's fun. What is my lineup? Well, the only changes is you're running the iconic 3, and then you're running the BT-09 new Bruce. What is the new Bruce? Well, you're also running the 4 copies, and that was the ride line. So basically, auto skill at the beginning of your battle phase, or if all your units is a Diabolos card name, until your opponent end of phase, right? You'll be in final rush.
Yeah, to the end of your opponent's next turn. So basically from your battle phase to your start of next turn, you are in a final rush state, which means it's faster than the previous design.
So you're if you watch episode 1 of the new season, you are you'll be in final rush 1 turn early, and then if your opponent grade 3 is greater, you'll be in final burst. What's final burst? Well, if you read the second description, auto skill at the end of this unit, when this unit attacks, if you're in final burst, counterblast 1, choose 1 column, restand it, and then
each unit in the column gets 5k.
Basically, yeah, choose a column and stand it. If your rear guard is a Diabolos in their card name, that column, the whole entire column, gets 5k power. So it's it rushes in turn 2. In your first grade 3 ride, if your opponent grade 3, then it activates every single one of them. So yep, running to the Persona rides, and then other grade 3s, I'm running 3 of the Diabolos Striker Greg,
which has only just been revealed on
Tuesday, Wednesday or Tuesday.
Wednesday's card of the day.
So why I'm running 3? Well, basically is when auto skill is when you're in final burst. Yep, when you're in final burst, cost Soul Blast 2 to countercharge 1, and he gets 5k power. So
for those who remember buying, was it Dungeon's trial deck?
Yeah.
Introduce a Diabolo Striker Brian. So basically this is a replacement for Brian, same cost, same skill. The only difference is you don't give 5k to the other front or rear guards, but you can charge.
Oh no, this is Diabolo Striker Brian is from DBT-03.
Ah, apologies, DBT-03.
This is yeah. I will show you. I will show you a combo. You can run him.
You can, it does work. But in terms of this and Greg, the only difference is Greg has a counter charge mechanic, which Bruce kind of needs.
Well,
this one,
if you can't pull heal triggers, and then 2 Pandemonium Tactics. Why? Basically, it's just all for Greg or Brian. You don't need to run anymore. It basically, do you want to run a counter charger or Brian? It is that.
Now, for those probably watching this, they're probably thinking, but Pandemonium, you don't get the additional effects. However, there is a combo which you can take advantage of Pandemonium Tactics depending on what your soul charge, being this unit Jason's now displaying.
What was it? 4 copies of
Diabolus Knuckler
Jamil. Yep.
Yeah, Knuckler Jamil.
Continuous, rear guard and guardian circle. If you're in final burst, this unit gets 10,000 power and 5k shield. Continuous in your opponent's turn. Auto, when this unit is placed, if your vanguard is Diabolus Vehemence Bruce, counterblast 1, soul charge 1, choose a grade 3 or less normal unit with Diabolus in the card name, call it to the open rearguard circle.
So that's where Pandemonium comes in, because you can soul charge 4, get some ideal key units in, that you can then call Jamil down to call out.
He just swings big number.
And he is a big number. He's basically a 20k continuous with a 10k shield without other card skills.
And then the other, I'm running 3 copies of Diabolos. What was it?
Reserva. DeAndre.
Yep. So he is basically, you can combine it with Jamil
and Pandemonium.
or Pandemonium.
Well, basically it is Pandemonium Jamil combo to get him out to proper skill.
If you want big number, for every 2 cards in your damage zone,
gets 10k
power. So if you're at 4 damage, 20k power. And then because of final burst, restands, and then he gets 5k power. If you're going to restand that column, he could become 35 with a booster. Could be swinging like really big numbers.
Yeah, it can swing lethal.
So yeah, it's not to sleep on.
Definitely not. And considering it is a common, they are very cheap to get hold of.
And he is from DBT-07. No, DBT-06.
Yeah.
So pretty much now. 2 copies of Leonard. I think everyone knows what Leonard does, right?
But for those who are just coming into Vanguard, it's a good opportunity for them to have a read of the skills if they haven't got the hand
So the only workable skill is the top skill.
One.
Is if you're in Final Rush, you will basically will. It will continuous, gets 5k power, and then it strikes your whole opponent's whole column. And then his lower skill is if you have the normal Bruce, it soul charges.
So as well, with when he Vehemence's final rush or technically final burst as well, Leonard then becomes a 15k even on your opponent's turn.
And then one copy of Eden.
Unfortunately, we've only been able to get our hands on 1 copy.
Well, yeah.
We would like more, but
all of his skills activates.
Yes.
He gets, if you're in Final Rush, it gets 5k power, and then when it restands, it gets a crit. It just when it gets restanded by a card effect.
Yeah, by card ability. When it reaches by card ability, it gets a crit.
And then if he successfully hits something, counterblast 1,
retire.
and then choose one opponent's rear guards and retire it. Just 1 copy, it works. It's fun, just really disgusting.
It is.
And then on to the grade 1s. I'm running 4 of the Diabolos girl Stephanie. So basically, if you're in Final Rush, continuous, the unit that is in the same column as this, like in the front, gets 5k power. So if you call her behind Bruce, your Bruce will become 18k.
As depicted in the anime in the first episode.
Yep. So that's why I run 4 copies of her. Glad I picked her in the beginning. Glad I picked 2 copies of her in the beginning.
Yeah. And she's a common as well, isn't she?
Yeah. And so she is in the DBT-04.
So to be fair, this deck is, even though it's part proxy, it is also part budget in some respects, because we've only got like the triple rares that you saw from Leonard and Eden, we just pulled from sets that we got lucky with. Everything else we've managed to get on the cheap, so it's quite a budget friendly deck, this build at the minute. It
is very budget friendly, but this was meant to be a grade 4 Bruce, but it eventually it got outbeaten, and you had to be going fast to activate Final Rush and everything, so I haven't played it for a while. And then other grade 1 is Diabolos Girl Trish. What does Trish does is continuous, rear guard and guardian circle. If you're in Final Rush, this unit gets 5k power and 5k shield, activate into the opponent's turn. So if you call her down, 13k. If you use as a guard material, 10k shield.
Again, as shown in the anime when Danji guarded with 2 Trishes.
Yep. And then if you don't want to use Stephanie, there is an alternative grade 1. If I can remember her name, let me grab my phone.
Yes. Diabolos Madonna, weren't it?
Let me find her up. Diabolos Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. As like in
Madonna. The copy of her is basically when she is boost.
When this unit boosts a Vanguard, if you are in Final Rush, Counterblast 1, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets triple drive until the end of turn.
Yep. And is a Diabolos. So if you don't want a twin drive of the new Bruce, make him a triple drive.
Yeah, which means it's not a +1 drive, it turns it to a triple drive.
Yeah.
Which also means that in a scenario like that, the promotional, the PR Elemental Cray PG, you could use its skill to not discard a card because the Bruce would have a triple drive.
Yeah. Well, it is basically just get a triple. And then 4 PGs, affect PGs.
Yeah.
You basically really need it. Trigger wise, don't have to just the normal OT.
We probably will look at getting a Dark States put in this, but we're going to wait for the price to drop on the reprint.
Yeah, and then it meant to be, you can run the effect ones, effect draws.
Personal preference, really.
But it's there. But you're already having enough guard shields, like big guard shields. I am not running any effect heals because I don't see, every time I play against people.
To be fair, a lot of the decks that we have and we fought against, not a lot of them have the mechanics where inherit crit or restand. I mean, there's a couple, but not a lot, so they're not really beneficial.
Yeah.
And we're probably not going to invest in the new ones that are coming out in set 9, that if you are a grade below, it gets 10k, because they're a 20k shield with that skill, so it's not really worth it.
And then 8 crits. Why 8 crits? Well, you're just standing one column, so you don't really need front triggers. If you're playing the original Bruce, the grade 4 one, then just...
more fronts makes more sense, but this one's
just balance out. But you're just standing one whole column. Yeah. So just rush your opponent and let them...
Considering that some of them have like inherent crits or retire mechanics, it's better to have crit pressure than front pressure.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's pretty much now you can, alternative options, you can run the Brian. Because if you Persona Ride and then call him, because he's an axe skill, Soul Blast 2 to give your whole front row 5k power, but because you can't be in Final Rush.
Yes, that's the thing. Just to clarify, I guess you could class it as a disclaimer.
Yeah.
The new Bruce's Final Rush only happens from battle phase.
Yep.
So if there are cards that have axe skills that require Final Rush like Brian, you wouldn't be able to prop it off the Final Rush part. Or if it's when placed, if you are in Final Rush, them ones wouldn't work.
Because it's...
It states in the card on the new Bruce, Final Rush or Final Burst starts from your battle phase.
Yep. But you can still Soul Blast 2 to get your front row 5k power, but you don't get the Final Rush, the Final Rush text saying get your Vanguard a crit.
No, so there are scenarios where you can take advantage of the units where, obviously, this is where Jamil comes in. For example, the grade 2 Diabolus Striker Lyle, where it's a Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 2, get 5k power. You can make that skill work, because you'd be calling it from the soul, which means it still technically be a when placed skill, because it doesn't specifically say when placed from hand.
And then you can also use, if you don't have like Stephanie or something like that, you can go for this alternative option. Mandatory grade 3. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard, you can Soul Charge 1. And if you're in Final Rush, you will be in the battle phase, of course. It gets 5k power. So you can build your soul slowly. You don't have to physically to combo off or just there. You can use the triple rare of the, what was it? The grade 2, restands gets 10k power.
Yes, Diabolus Madonna Megan.
Yep.
So her skill is
when
this unit attacks, if you're in Final Rush plus 10k, and it stacks. So if she restands again, it's another 10k. So basically, she can be a 30k unit without a Persona Ride turn, without a booster.
Yep.
Obviously, with Persona Ride, it would be 40. Depending on a booster, it could be 43 to 53, depending on if you Persona Rided, and that's without triggers.
Yep. Or you can just use, because this is an on hit and it is a common, Diabolus
Madonna Reese.
Yeah.
When this unit attacks a Vanguard, hits a Vanguard, Soul Charge 2, if you're in Final Rush, choose one of your units and it gets 10k power to the end of turn.
So pretty much is choose one of your units and get 10k power. So it's like if your opponent allows a hits, you can just give
Soul Charge 2, give a unit 10k power.
You can give Bruce like 10k power with Stephanie, make it 36.
It's big numbers.
It works. It's like you're not losing numbers, you're not losing attacks, it's just you building big numbers.
Yeah. And to be honest, because this build doesn't really affect your soul compared to the previous Bruces, it gives you a lot more variety of Diabolus units to work with. So that's why we like, if you run Pandemonium Tactics, you can take advantage of Greg and Brian to Soul Blast a couple because you've got the soul to work with.
You can still run Pandemonium.
Yeah.
It just, if you're not going to run any soul charge cards, then you don't need to worry. You can run Pandemonium just to build off your combos for later games, like an end game turn or something like that. But obviously, your main priority is try and see most copies of her. Try not to, most copies of Stephanie, because then your opponent will try to forcefully retire it, because they don't want your Vanguard to become 18k, or they're just trying to snipe off your Trish, because later down the game, Trish will become
a 13k booster.
Yeah, just it pops off everything. So yeah.
So this, like with this deck, does achieve slightly higher numbers, and it's more.
Always goes past around 50 something.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's more of a defensive setup as well now, because it's obviously all skills are active on opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Which means you get higher defense, which means less hand cost really to guard, because obviously they've got, your opponent has to hit higher numbers.
You're basically just forcing your opponent to guard with PGs or a power that overs almost 51k shield. So,
yeah.
pretty much like it is now. You don't need to worry about soul charging God knows how many amount of cards to activate Soul Blast 5 every time.
Yeah,
you can just
you don't even
choose to soul charge or not soul charge.
Yeah.
Or you need to just a few counter blasts.
Yeah. Basically, if you want all the combos to pop off, really 3 counter blasts minimum. Because if you've got Pandemonium,
2 or 3.
Pandemonium. If you say you've got Pandemonium, Bruce, Greg, and Jamil, then you're pretty much set.
Yeah. 2 or 3, but 2 can work, and then because his skill works in the battle phase.
Yeah.
And then you could just pop off skill. So yeah, you don't have to be in 3 damage. If you already have Greg in your hand, you can just take 2 damage and just whiff that much combo.
Just make sure you have at least 3 soul to do Greg, and if you have a Jamil as well to take advantage.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, Jamil's skill does specifically say you have to call to an open rearguard circle.
Yep.
So do keep that in mind.
The only downside is for the cards is the Diabolos Lyle, the grade 2 from DBT-04, because his final rush had to be in the main phase.
Yeah.
So
that's why I said earlier about comboing it with Jamil and Pandemonium, because it would prop off.
Yeah, so like Lyle is he had to be in final rush of Soul Charge 2 to call it open rear guard, but you still get the 5k, but you will be wasting one counter blast. And then the Diablo's boy Kyle is a grade 1, but when you call every 3 cards in your soul.
Oh, Kyle, yeah.
Yeah, 2 cards
when
or
placed,
3
if
cards.
you're in final rush, 5k for every 3 cards in your soul.
Yeah, but it has to be in your main phase, so yeah, those 2.
And I think that one is when placed from hand as well.
Yeah, it had to be on hand.
So
yeah, if you do have those 2, bear in mind if you are running with this new Bruce, it doesn't combo off any of their skills. Well, it just Lyle's counter blast gets 5k, but you won't not be able to soul charge and call something out. That's the downside, even the grade 1 boy. So it's like I did have them. I did try to talk to people who play mostly the Bruce, and it doesn't work. So
we have actually test played this deck with Brian in before, Greg, and it can be very, very aggressive.
Persona Ride.
So
remember Tamiora?
So yeah, basically Tamiora, yeah.
Persona Ride 5k with that.
So obviously we're going to be test playing this with Greg, and then eventually I think tomorrow at some point we're going to probably do a video of Bruce. At the minute we haven't decided, but I think we might do Grand Fear, since we haven't actually done a Grand Fear fight or deck profile yet. So we'll probably do a Grand Fear fight tomorrow, because they have released a few more supports for him to try out. So keep an eye out for that.
It's actually really fun. Now I've been playing mostly like Dragon. I've been playing like Basagara, Proxy, Youthberg. Now that Bruce is back, I'm happy.
You're a Bruce machine.
I'm happy. I can go full bro. Just swing a big power. All right.
So if you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up
button.
Comment anything you want to know, or if there's anything we missed, comment down below.
Sure.
And if you want to, subscribe to the channel for more We do try to do at least 2 to 3 a month and that.
Or if you have any combos for
Yeah,
Proxy.
if you can think of any combos of cards that we've probably not thought of, that you know what will work, drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
And see you soon. Bye.
Ciao.